So Barack Obama said some shit again. And I just want to remind everybody that the reason why we have Donald Trump is because the Democratic Party is 100% corrupt. That's why we have Donald Trump, because there is no alternative to the Republican Party, right? The Democrats became Republicans, and the Republicans became batshit fucking crazy. That's what's going on. So Dylan Ratigan, you know, he told the truth about the banks, and now he has to do his news reports from a park. And so he says this.
So again, while the FBI director example gives those with a partisan view against Donald Trump, and it's easy to be against Donald Trump, the obvious fuel to suggest that he's a criminal who's a terrible guy, blah, 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 under investigation, probably true. But if you believe that, then you probably also need to consider that Hillary Clinton was taking money through her foundation to do weapons deals overseas while personally enriching herself, and that Barack Obama is paid off by the private health insurance companies and the banks to make sure that we don't actually have proper health care or a functioning financial system. It's hard to believe one and not accept the other two.
Okay, so that's a big deal, right? That's a big deal. And so Barack Obama loves to go overseas and wag his finger at the American voter and blame the voter, the citizen, for the problems of the elite and our political class. So this was him last year in Italy, and this is what he said last year.
But as I always tell people, you get the politicians you deserve.
No.
And if you don't vote and you don't participate and if you don't pay attention, then...
Yay! First of all, the politician we deserved in 2016 was a guy named Bernie fucking Sanders. Right. The problem was the corporate news and the Democratic Party and the Clinton campaign rigged the fucking primary to screw that guy over and force a corporatist down our throat, and that's why we got Donald fucking Trump, not because we didn't pay attention, you motherfucker.
I voted for this guy twice, and he let the bank steal my fucking home, so he can go fuck himself.
Yes.
In his fucking $3,000 suit, and the fact he dropped more bombs than George Bush. I voted for him because he said he wasn't, and he lied and dropped more bombs. So I don't want to fucking hear it from another fucking corporate asshole.
Yeah, but he's very nice.
Yes, that's what we need. Just a good tweeter. We just someone that's good at tweeting.
So he's saying if you don't vote, you get the politicians you deserve. Hey, I did vote. Graham did vote. We all voted, and we got the politician we didn't deserve, and that guy's name was Barack Obama. We thought we were voting for FDR, and we were voting for Mitt fucking Romney. Yeah,
that's right.
So that's him wagging his finger at the voter for not voting. 100 million people don't vote. They're the biggest voting bloc in the country. 100 million people don't vote. And he doesn't go, well, I wonder if the political classes let them down some way. No, he's just like, those assholes don't vote. It's your fucking fault. That's it. That's it. So now that was last year. Now this is this year. This is him. Now, apparently, he doesn't even like to be criticized about his 8 years, because now he's going to be pissed off if anybody criticizes him. Ready? Here we go.
Idea of purity and you're never compromised and you're always politically woke and all that stuff. You should get over that quickly. The world.
We should get over that quickly. You know, like the way he got over, trying to end Bush's wars. Yeah, he got over that shit. God damn it. Obama is like an advertising, if the advertising department for Citicorp was a person.
Idea of purity and you're never compromised and you're always politically woke and all that stuff. You should get over that quickly. The world is...
30 million people don't have health care. You should get over that quickly. 50% of Americans can't afford a $500 emergency. Why don't you get over that quickly?
Should the people in Yemen get over that quickly? That he helped to fucking start that war that the Saudis had bombed?
The people who voted for to end those wars, they should get over that shit quickly.
Over that shit
get over that shit.
Got it.
Yeah. See, there are ambiguities.
By the way, people should get over that quickly. I think he's referring to Biden's voting record. I think that's what he's talking about. People should get over that quickly. I think that's Biden's new campaign slogan. People should get over this quickly. That's what.
People who do really good stuff have flaws. People who you are fighting may love their kids.
But we're going to bomb them anyway. Yeah, it's not the fact that they love their kids, Barack. It's the fact that they don't love my fucking kids or your fucking kids, and they don't give a shit about anybody else's kids. That's the problem, you dick. All right, here we go.
And, share certain things with you. And I think that one danger I see among young people, particularly on college campuses, Malia and I talk about this. Yara goes to school with my daughter.
That's nice.
But I do get a sense sometimes now among certain young people, and this is accelerated by social media, there is this sense sometimes of the way of me making change is to be as judgmental as possible about other people. And that's enough. Like if I tweet or hashtag about how you didn't do something right or used the wrong verb, or then I can sit back and feel pretty good about myself. Because, man, you see how woke I was? I called you out. Let me get on TV, watch my show, watch Grownish. That's not activism.
Okay, so that was hard for me to watch. I
I'm
don't know.
inspired.
Oh, really? Mick, you want?
I made my money, so I'm phoning it in.
So I want to play it again, and we'll break it down, right, line by line, because when he
Idea
says
of purity and you're never compromised.
so this idea of purity, right? So we're not talking about purity, Barack Obama. The people he's talking about are people like us, people like me, and people like you who want things like Medicare for all and a living wage and an end to these fucking wars and investing that money back here at home. That's not called being a purist. That's called basic human fucking decency. So whenever these son of a bitches throw that term purist out there, you say, fuck you, it's about basic human decency, you Mitt Romney prick that you are. So that anybody want to say about purist? Does that drive anybody else as nuts as it drives me?
Well, it's driving me loco, okay? Just so you know, loco in mi cabeza. And I just want to point out that here's a man that didn't give me the health care that I deserve, gave me Romney care. And I just think we're the wealthiest nation in the world. Why don't we have health care? Where was the jobs program? He was in office for 8 years. There's no jobs program. He wasn't the FDR that we deserved. He was,
He was Mitt Romney.
And you know what? I get to judge him, and I get to judge his record. And
Yes.
I am woke.
Yeah, thank you very much. You're right.
Doesn't Maher use that asshole? Bill Maher used that term too. He's
Yeah, purist.
Purity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you're a purist. It's like, no,
You're a purist.
I get to advocate for basic human decency from my politicians. The question that Barack Obama should be asking is does anybody ever ask him, hey, why do you think the political class turned their back on workers? Why do you think that happened? Does he ever ask to answer that fucking question? It's always, hey, can you think of a way to blame the voters for this shit that we're in? Yeah, and he does. He thinks of a way to do it every time.
You're always politically woke and all that stuff. You should get over that quickly. The world is meant.
Yeah, I had to get over hope and change quickly. I had to get over that because that shit didn't happen.
You know what, Jimmy?
Yeah.
And I also have a problem with the president who's saying, get over being woke when he's a centrist telling me this.
Yes. He's not woke with the guy who's an admitted Republican. All
Look,
right.
Steph, I have some flaws.
Over that quickly. The world is messy.
Is it as messy as the Affordable Care Act? Am I right? Come on. The world is messy. That's because we fucking bombed the shit out of it for 8 years. Am I right?
The world is messy and there's ambiguities. This is just such fucking centrist bullshit. I'm so just like, hey, this is saying we can't fix it. And I'm so sick of like, oh, these kids today. These kids today that are doing a global climate strike,
Right.
I was just at the one Friday. There's all these kids. There's teenagers. There's 10-year-olds. There's little 7-year-old girls looking up to Greta Thunberg. Holy shit, they're waking the fuck up. And you're telling them don't get woke and all these kids today because they're not going to have a future because the world is messy because you had 8 years control of the House and Senate for what, 2 of it? You could have passed every goddamn environmental law out there and instead...
He opened the Arctic to drilling twice.
He fracked and he let fucking Standing Rock happen. Said, let's see how this plays out. That's why the world's was messy. The Keystone Pipeline that he fucking approved just spilled 380,000 gallons. That is fucking messy, Barack Obama. So take your fucking incremental pragmatism and shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I'm with you, Graham.
That sounds very judgy. Very judgy.
I know, I'm so woke. Living in my one-bedroom apartment since Steve Mnuchin took my fucking house. That's a little fucking messy. That was my bankruptcy and foreclosure. A little fucking messy, Barack. Fuck you and your Democratic Party. They can suck it. Sorry, no jokes there. Just some anger.
I don't think it's attractive to be bitter.
Graham, we like to get pretend real.
Yeah, you're right. My fault. My fault.
Not real. Let's more to this guy. Hang on. So the world is messy. I remember there was a lot of parts of the world that weren't so messy before you started drone bombing the shit out of it.
Libya didn't have open slave markets before you guys took out Gaddafi.
Messy now.
Now it's a little messy. Now it's a little
very
messy.
messy.
Okay.
You know who doesn't think it's messy? The bankers, because they cleaned up. How about that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good, Jimmy. That was really good. Thank you.
Remember that one.
Yeah.
There are ambiguities.
There are ambiguities. The world is messy. There are ambiguities. So $200 for insulin is just an ambiguity? Because for a second, I thought we were getting screwed. It's just an ambiguity. An ambiguity, Graham. You getting your house got taken away so they can give never miss a bonus for the bankers. That's an ambiguity. So like an ambiguity. Like on one hand, it's illegal to drone bomb people and it kills 90% civilians. But on the other hand, he did it. So it's fucking ambiguity.
So is it ambiguity, Jimmy? Is an ambiguity when you jail more whistleblowers than George W. Bush? Is that ambiguity when you put Chelsea Manning behind bars?
That's very ambiguous.
Oh.
What about making his tax cuts permanent? That was also an ambiguity.
Right.
Voters should be more open-minded and look at the world through the eyes of billionaires. So you know what I'm talking about? That's what I'm saying.
So
That's-
Flint, Michigan still has undrinkable water. Now, is that kind of messy and ambiguous?
That's very ambiguous.
Oh,
Okay, here we go.
Okay, get over it, Flint.
People who do really good stuff have flaws.
Yes, some people do really good stuff, have flaws, and sometimes they torture some folks. Sometimes they even torture some folks. That's it. Some people have flaws. This is people who really do good stuff has flaws. For example, Barack Obama bailed out the thieves on Wall Street, but on the other hand, Graham lost his house. See, people are complicated.
Oh, right.
People are very complicated.
That totally makes total
Hey, how many
sense.
flaws does a person have to have before you stop calling them a good fucking person and just a regular piece of shit? That's my question. How many flaws do they have to fucking have? These
8
good people.
8.
Oh,
And they have to appear on Ellen.
Yeah.
That's my favorite CIA asset daytime talk show.
This is a true then and now moment, though, you know? Then, yes, we can. Now, people have flaws.
Yeah. And it's interesting that the flaws good people have are the exact flaws bad people have. Isn't that fucking something? I don't know. The good people want to fuck over workers, and the bad people want to fuck over workers. I don't know.
People who you are fighting may love their kids. And,
What the?
you know,
Yo.
share certain things with you. And
You mean like Mitch McConnell? You mean people like that? You mean like Ted Cruz, Mitch McConnell, Donald Trump? He loves his kids. I'm sure he loves his kids. He wants to have sex with one of them. I'm sure he loves his kids. Jimmy, do you mean like those people, Barack? You mean like Dianne Feinstein or Nancy Pelosi, who became a 100 millionaire while she's been in government, and the only people who do that are crooks? You mean people like that, Barack Obama? Because Harry Truman said the only people who get rich in government are fucking criminals. But you're saying they're good people who love their children. So I don't know which one it is. Maybe they're criminals, maybe they're not. I don't know what the fuck. But I'm sure it's the voters' fault.
I think if we watched this video backwards, we would get the same amount of information.
Yeah.
I think that one danger I see among young people, particularly on college campuses, Malia and I talk about this. Young goes to school with my daughter.
Oh, isn't that so heartwarming?
But I do get a sense sometimes now among certain young people, and this is accelerated by social media, there is this sense sometimes of the way of me making change is to be as judgmental as possible about other people. And that's enough. Like if I tweet or hashtag about how you didn't do something right, or used the wrong verb or...
Yeah, that's what it is. It's those goddamn verb activists. Those fucking verb activists. They're always mucking up our corrupt banking system. That's what he's saying. If I tweet or hashtag something, that's right. He's saying that that's like snarky and that's not right. So stagnant wages and out of control healthcare costs and careening college debt aren't the problem. It's my hashtag tweets. That's the problem.
So that's why people are mad about all the bombs. Did he drop a lot of verbs? Is that what he fucking dropped?
I guess so. Hang on.
Then I can sit back and feel pretty good about myself. Because, man, you see how woke I was? I called you out. Let me get on TV. Watch my show. Watch Grownish. You know, that's not activism. That's not bringing about change.
So to bring about change, according to Barack Obama, you need to stay silent and never criticize people on Twitter. That's how you bring about. Is this communist karaoke? What the fuck is he talking about? That's what he's saying. He's literally saying, stop criticizing people on Twitter. They are good people with kids that they love. So what that Andrew Cuomo just vetoed a bill to give you legal representation? So what if Nancy Pelosi won't advocate for health care for you? So what if they'd rather spend money on bombs on brown people than giving you a living wage or an infrastructure that works or anything, or a banking system that works or a healthcare system that works? Fuck it. Just don't ever criticize them. And if you do, you're the bad person. It's the verb Nazis that are out there. Those are the bad people. And leave people like Barack Obama alone. This is him not being able to accept the fact that 8 years of Barack Obama gave us Donald Trump. He can't accept this. That's what this is. They would not vote for Hillary Clinton, his hand-chosen successor, who would have been fucking shunned from political life, except he revived her goddamn career. He beat her in 2008 and then made her Secretary of State. He didn't have to do that, and she could have maybe gone away. But he fucking revived her hand-picked successor. They wouldn't vote, and he knows this. And he knows when the history books are written, that's what they're going to say. So that's what he's trying to get out in front of right now. Anybody?
All those counties that voted for him twice, that then voted for Trump because they were like, they voted 85% of the people who voted in the last election said they did as the lesser of two evil. You can't just say all Trump voters are just fucking Nazi deplorables. A lot of them said, well, he's batshit nuts, but I will not vote for Hillary Clinton. That's what happened, and they just rejected their neoliberal centrist bullshit because they cheated a fucking progressive in their own goddamn primary, man. That's what it's about.
So you gotta really respect when ex-presidents, they take up a big cause, right? Like Al Gore was climate change, Jimmy Carter is building houses,
Habitat
and
for
Barack
Humanity.
Obama is policing people's tone on Twitter, right?
Hashtag woke.
I'm not interested in woke folks because they're broke.
And what does he make for personal appearances, books?
He makes about $500,000 a pop when he does a personal appearance. That's the guy. Woke culture. I really called you out. I want to have so Obama's right though. College kids are too politically correct, but at least they're going to be drowning in hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt for the rest of their life when he's going to be hanging out on one of his friends' private islands. So who got the last laugh? Am I right? Barack Obama sticking it right in your ass, college kids. There you go. By the way, this was May 1st, 2015. It says President Barack Obama yesterday said that he may go back to community organizing when he leaves the White House on January 20th, 2017. He may go, or he may go right to Wall Street. He may go. Obama goes from White House to Wall Street in less than a year. After failing to prosecute bankers, Obama cashes in with Wall Street speeches. The former president has taken in $400,000 per speech. That you just asked, $400,000 for a half hour. For a half hour. This guy says 3 speeches in 1 month, $400,000 a piece. And somebody asked him, "What do you got to do to get paid $400,000 for a speech?" And he said, "Well, first you have to become president. Second, don't enforce laws against securities or mortgage fraud."
And when the next recession comes, and everyone's gonna go, why did this happen again? It'll be because he passed Dodd-Frank, which is a fucking Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. He did nothing. He prosecuted no one. Another recession is coming, and it's because nothing fucking happened. Nothing was done.
Sure, I mean, that's horrible, but, man, aren't those people on Twitter annoying? Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
That's what Barack Obama says. All right, come on, let's really get to it. The people on Twitter, they're dicks. Come on. We got to fix that first. And then we'll get to healthcare. So, by the way, when he said he wanted, I might go back to community organizing. And then he takes $400,000 a pop, so I guess what he meant was gated community organizing. And he said, that's not activism. Well, this guy says, does placing the criminals who destroyed the economy in charge of fixing it count as activism? Because that's what Barack Obama did. Is that his kind of activism? Dave Anthony says this. He goes, hard to see the guy who disbanded hundreds of student groups who were ready to hit the streets and fight for him make this point. So do you guys remember that when he got elected, there was this huge, and the establishment was afraid that he had this huge army of young people who were willing to go and do anything he wanted them to do. Go protest, go do this, go get in the street, go send an email to this. They would have done anything. He disbanded them. He disbanded them. He didn't he had all their emails. He didn't keep them going. He didn't keep them as activists. He disbanded them. And then Bernie Sanders came along 6 or 8 years later, and he got them going. I love what this guy says. 9 years after Scott Walker stripped them of union rights, the public sector workers of Wisconsin are still waiting for Obama to put on a comfortable shoe and walk their picket line like he promised in 2008. Didn't do it. What I love is Megan says, this is about this when he says, I'm going to go back to community organizing. She says, this is funny because Barack Obama is in Chicago right now meeting with Lori Lightfoot, the mayor, instead of the Chicago Teachers Union, who are on strike right now. And he's talking about his $500 million presidential center, which he wants to proceed without the proposed community benefits agreement. So Barack Obama, when he's in Chicago, he's not talking with the Chicago teachers who are on strike. He's not walking their picket line in Chicago, which is where he is. He's talking to the mayor because he wants to make sure his fucking library, which the community doesn't want, gets fucking done over their will without a community green benefits agreement. That's what's happening right now. That's who Barack Obama is, and that's your problem. Don't be so woke. Don't call him out for it, though.
I'm starting to think Obama isn't very good. I'm going to go out on that limb.
Good call, Eddie.
By the way, his library, it's making a mockery of transparency. $500 million monument to milk toastery. Sounds right. $500 million. That's what they're spending. So let's go to this. By the way, this is from Architect magazine in Chicago. It says the University of Chicago's faculty signed a letter opposing the current plans for Obama's presidential center. So, and there was I think there was 100 faculty members signed that letter. He didn't give a shit. He ignores them. According to the criticism, locating the center in Jackson Park as opposed to another spot on the south side of Chicago limits its ability to provide promised development and economic benefits to the surrounding area. As the letter states, it looks to many neighbors that the only new jobs created will be as staff to the Obama Center, since there isn't available adjacent land from which new businesses could benefit. So they're taking these public lands and they're giving it to the Barack Obama so he can put a private thing on top of it, which is fucked up and bullshit that they're doing that. And now there isn't even enough land around for other buildings to be built so we can have some kind of economic benefit from this. And he knows this and he's doing it anyway. And they've been telling him move it to another place on the south side that would actually help people instead of just raising everyone's rents, which is exactly what's happening. And he still doesn't give a shit. Okay. So more than 100 University of Chicago faculty members have now penned a letter concerning the Obama Center, opposing its plans on economic and preservation grounds. Obama said, this is from Chicago Reader, no community benefits agreement and let's move on. He's not doing it. He's not going to do a community benefits agreement. You can all go fuck yourselves. He doesn't care. And by the way, I tried to Google, because I knew this was happening, so I wanted to get some information about it. And I Googled it, right? I Googled Barack Obama no community benefits agreement. And look what came up. So that's the New Republic. The World, was that Worker Socialist website? Then after that, The Observer. After that, RT. And then down there, Reddit. There's no mainstream news organization that is covering the bullshit of Barack Obama's fucking library. Isn't that kind of interesting? And if they are covering, Google has it rigged. Their algorithm makes it so they don't come up. That's kind of fucked up, right? What am I?
So I guess by community organizing, he just means, I'm going to organize shit in your community whether you like it or not. Doesn't help you, don't care.
And so there you go. I mean, even putting up his library, he's doing it in the most neoliberal way possible. And then you wonder why we have Trump. And he'll tell you it's your fault, and don't talk about me on Twitter, and it's the low voters and the people who don't get off their couch. Anyway, so all right, well, let's move on.
I mean, seriously, Jimmy, you'd think the world would be going crazy that he's doing this. Just wait until Trump does this. Because Trump's going to get his library, too.
Yeah, but he's gonna put his on the coast in Florida, and it'll be underwater in 5 years.
Yeah. But it'll be huge. It'll be huge. The best, biggest one
It'll
ever.
be the biggest library flood in the history of ever.
Yeah.
There will be lots of books and even more pictures.
And the books will have the hugest print.
It'll just be one copy of Hustler.
Next live Jimmy Dore show is in Philadelphia, November 18th. Plus, we'll be in Honolulu on December 27th doing live shows all month long in November and December in Hollywood at the Sycamore Tavern. Plus, we're going to be in San Jose, Sacramento, Tempe, Portland. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all the tickets for all of our live shows. And please become a patron if you like the show. We give you hours of bonus material every week. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com and become a premium member. Thanks for your support.